Well, hello, if you're listening, we will start the webinar in a few minutes.
You don't have anybody yet?
Last time you selected one of those icons on the side.
Right, this one. This is it. There we go. Hello, anybody there?
Can you hear him say yes? It's backwards.
I don't know how that happened. We're going to be speaking in Russian tonight. Well, that's Greek to me. I have no idea how that happened.
First of all, I wish it would show just your slideshow and not your internet email.
Oh, I know what the problem is. Is the screen working? It has to be in presentation mode. What is this, Bill?
This
is
you have your internet. I meant your.
Is this PowerPoint?
No, it's not. This is your email. You opened your email instead of the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint is behind there. So can you intervene for a second? It's down there. There you go. To PowerPoint. I would stop the broadcast and restart it.
I can't. I can't.
You can't stop it?
No.
What happens if you stop it?
Let's just start it.
What happens if you hit stop broadcast?
I have to send out I have to create another event.
Really?
Yeah.
Two viewers, honey. Well, we have two people
Hello.
watching us right now. If you'd like to let us know who you are, you're welcome to text us, Alicia or Bill.
Or just chat.
Or the group chat, if you can see how to do that. We are being invaded by Russians as it has turned our presentation upside down. And so we're trying to correct that so you don't have to read it with a mirror. But to talk with you while we are figuring this out, if you'd like, you can text us or chat in the window on the side of the screen and let us know who you are. And actually, if you have any questions you'd like us to address right now as we're trying to figure this out. If you can see what's happening. Oh, that's how you reverse it. You hit that button there.
Okay.
So hit the button again, see what happens. Oh, it only does it once. 3 viewers. We're really sorry, folks. It's we're having some PepCap issues here.
I read in the instructions on this is not how you do it.
Yes. So we may have to postpone this webinar to next Thursday night, unfortunately. There we
go.
We're there.
All right.
Okay, let's get the show rolling.
Okay.
Go ahead, you start up.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is Bill and Alicia, and tonight's team training is on inviting and closing. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to enter it in the chat. Okay. A lot of what we're sharing tonight is going to be based on what we learned in training with Eric Worre. And so that is, first of all, he said, decide to become a professional. The day you decide to become a professional network marketer is the day everything will change for you. Bill?
All right. Normally we have some video with this too. And so we spent all these hours of preparation in front of the mirror for naught because we have no video in front of us. But we're going to figure that out on the next one. But what we're trying to accomplish here is a way to build an organization and a team that can be duplicatable. So we're implementing what we call the Light Your Team on Fire, the LIGHT program. It's where you learn, you implement, you teach, and you encourage. And each one of those has subcategories, and we're not going to really, that's not the focus of our webinar tonight. But what we're doing is teaching you some tools that you can learn, and then hopefully you will be able to implement those tools in your organization and in your business, and then teach people what you have learned so that they can implement it in their organization and business, and then encourage them to be successful, and just kind of keep spreading that all the way down. But on the teach component, which we're doing tonight, we're teaching you and you are learning. We're actually trying to teach to teach. We're trying to teach you in a way that you can teach the others in your organization, and that they can learn and then teach others. So it's to learn, implement, teach to teach, and then encourage, okay? So tonight we're focusing on two issues, or two questions. These are questions that have been presented to us in the last week, and one is on the invite and one is on the close. And this is kind of like the very beginning, the alpha of the whole, getting your business started, your invite, and then it's also on the close. How do you get people to say yes to your invitation and to what you give them during your presentation? So we're going to start with this old adage, and when you start your organization and you're teaching your people, you have to be careful that you are not building their business. You are helping them. I will help you build your business. And when you look at that, it's really, I will help you build your business. No one's in this industry to build your business. The success or failure of your business is really up to you. If you're the entrepreneur and you're going into business, it's your business. You have to take ownership of it. Now, you have great support in both the company and in your sponsors and in your uplines and sidelines and all sorts of other areas of support that will help you build your business, but ultimately it is up to you. So like, for example, tonight's webinar, we're going to teach you some tools and some skills that will help you build your business. And that's how we're helping you build your business. All right. So we're going to start with this invite, and the first part of our webinar tonight. So the invite, this question was brought to us by people who are just not having a lot of success or don't really know how to invite people. And the invite is really an interview. And what you're going to try and do is start a conversation. Now, if you start a conversation the right way, things go really well. If you start it the wrong way, you really can't recover from that. So you have to learn how to start the conversation the right way. And the way you do that is when you go and you meet people, whether it's friends of yours or it's people at the grocery market counter or on the airplane or wherever it is, you just simply start a conversation, okay? And we all know how to start a conversation and talk to people. That's one of the natural human nature things that we all do. So you want to go up to a person and just start speaking to them. But what your goal is to start listening to what their answers are. You're going to start kind of interviewing them, asking them some questions. When you talk to people and you get them involved and ask questions about them, they all of a sudden become interested in communicating with you because it's about them. It's not about you. And the second benefit is that you're able to actually find out the answers that you need to go deeper with them. Because during these conversations, what you're trying to do is get them to understand and realize that you have something that they need. So for example, you just come up to them and start talking to them, ask them what they're doing, how they're doing, and ultimately, each question leads to another question. So for example, it's like, who are you in life? I mean, what do you do? What kind of job do you have? Do you enjoy your job? Are you satisfied and content with that job? And, a lot of people say, oh yeah, everything's fine. I'm happy. It's like, do you have all the time that you need for your children? I mean, do you have children? Do you go to their soccer games? Do you get to see all their soccer games? Just question after question. Oh, that's great. How many children do you have? Wow. Do you get to spend much time with them? Does your husband work? Where does he work at? Just general questions. But what you're trying to do is find out how satisfied they are, how happy they are, and if they aren't, if they have a plan. So as you're talking about, it's like, well, that's interesting. I meant, do you have a plan to not have to work so long? Do you have a plan to not have to be able to get home in time for your children when they get home from school? Do you have a plan to retire? You know, do you have a plan? And if not, would you like to see one? And that's really the key. Are you happy? Do you have a plan? Would you like to see one? And if you could focus on those three principles in your conversation, then you'll ultimately lead to the point to a little answer, you know, well, no, I don't have a plan. Well, would you like to see one? Well, yeah, I would like to see one. And then you could say things like, well, I'll leave it up to you as to whether or not you believe it's for you, but let me introduce you to someone who's changing my financial future, and maybe it would be good for you to meet him. So what you're trying to do is start a conversation, find out if they're happy, see if they have a plan if they're not, and if they'd like to hear if they'd like to see a plan. Now, the key here is we're not salespeople. We're not trying to be interesting in the conversation. We're trying to be interested in them during this conversation. And you just want to put people in front of information and not say too much. You know, the real masters in this industry are not masters of presentation. They are masters of conversation. So the more you could practice your conversation, the more you can engage people, the more you could ask them questions and pertinent questions, the more successful you're going to become. And conversation is really what everyone knows how to do. It's not one of those skills that you really have to learn, but it does help to learn the right questions to ask. All right. So the one of our favorite things is when we approach people and start a conversation is that, first of all, let me just add one more thing. You know, we teach skills, you're trying to develop skills. One of the greatest skills you could learn as a network marketer is how to evaluate people, how to size people up, how to determine within a very short amount of time, like 90 seconds, are these people who are going to be interested in doing this kind of work? Are these people that are actually seeking for answers or seeking for a plan? You know, and as you talk to people really quick, you could decide, hey, this is someone that's just not the kind of person that I want to spend time with trying to give information to, or this is the kind of person. So that's actually the skill set of some sort of discernment. And the faster you can size that up, the less amount of time that you're going to waste spending talking to the wrong people. And so one of our favorite things is you've always heard, you know, hey, do you keep your income options open? You know, and that works for some people. But what we prefer to open with is around the concept of multiple streams of income. And the multiple streams of income approach is very interesting because, say someone has a job. Most people say they like their job, you know, they're satisfied, they make money, they're paying the bills and stuff. And when you keep your income options open approach, it's like, well, you mean like, do I want to switch my current income to something else? What we're just trying to get them to understand is it's very good and very important to have multiple streams of income coming into your life. So you got your job, you have your regular paycheck, but it's also beneficial if you can get another little stream of income. Maybe it's $300 a month, maybe it's $500 a month, just another stream of income. We're not having them eat the whole whale, you know, in one bite. It's like, you know, we're not saying, hey, switch, you make $100,000 a month or whatever a year and fire your boss and everything like that. It's like, listen, let's just start getting you another stream of income. You know, and you'll be surprised. Some people are happy with $500 extra a month, because if you can get them to just a few $100s extra a month, they're going to have belief that this works, and they're going to want more than 300, and they're going to want more than 500, they're going to want more than 1,000. You know, it's baby steps. So it's a good conversation opener when you talk to them, you do the interview, and you're starting conversations like, hey, you know, do you have a plan? Do you think it'd be beneficial to have multiple streams of income, like, you know, make an extra $300 or $500? You know, is that a plan that would interest you? Would you like to hear more about that plan? Can I get you in front of somebody who's changed my financial future that could explain a plan? It may not be for you, but it might. And so just to kind of sum it up, start asking questions, do a lot of listening, tell some stories about yourself. Well, yeah, I was in the same situation. I never got home in time for my kids. And so I found that developing an extra stream of income gave me some more freedom. I didn't have to work as long and as hard. And I was able to have that freedom. So are you happy? Do you have a plan? Would you like to see one? That's we've covered, and those are the key points for you as well. Okay, now we're on to Alicia's side of the deal. Handling objections, which I don't know what that's about.
Well, most people, they're going to have a reason to say no. It's going to be, well, I don't have the time, or it's
for the close, right?
Yeah, it's right before the close. So you're trying to qualify them, like Bill was saying, if this is the right timing for them. And like we've heard before, you want to find the people that are at high noon now. If they're not at high noon now, it's important to keep in touch with them over the months, because everyone will hit high noon eventually. So as you're coming to the close, you could say, how do you feel right now? They say, well, if they need more information, that's okay. If they've done this business before, you want to ask, well, were you successful? How did you like it? If they did this business before and they weren't successful, ask them reasons why. If they own the reasons why they didn't do very well, well, I just didn't make time for it, then that's good. If they are pointing to the reasons, well, I had a bad upline, or it could have been a wrong opportunity. Maybe it was a company that went out of business. But first, you want to relate to them. Say, hey, I understand. I felt the same way. I found that, for instance, a lot of people misunderstand network marketing. Like, for instance, I couldn't stand network marketing, and that's why I told Bill I didn't want him to tell me about the business, but I would take the product. And that's because I thought I had to be a salesperson. And I didn't think anyone made any money. So in that situation, he could have said, oh, I understand, I felt the same way. However, I found that this is actually the most perfect business out there. And Bill just put the timer on me.
Well, that's just to help you know where you're at.
But now I realize that this is almost the most perfect business in the world, because it incorporates personal growth, and you determine how successful that you want to be. So, but the last thing you want to do is tell them that they have to change the way that they're thinking. It's like, oh, you don't understand. You'd never want to put them in a negative. You don't want them to put them on the defensive. It's better to share your story and try to relate to them through your story. And then, then end with the question, if I, would you? So if I were to share with you my upline, and perhaps their problem before is that they didn't feel like they had enough support. And you'll say, if I introduce you to our team, would you be more open to get more information? So can you advance it? And then we get to our actual closing questions. So every presentation should be followed with these 6 questions. Number 1, what did you like best? Of course, that is always, we learned that early on in LifeVantage. After we show the video, we ask them, what do you like best? You never want, because that opens it up for them to become more engaged. Then you ask them, On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? Feel free to interject anytime. And if they're at a 1, then you know, oh, it's just not the right timing. But anything over a 2 is good. And because there's usually some objections that they have, they just need to get some clarity.
Yeah, frankly, it doesn't matter what their answer is on number 2. It really doesn't. You know, whatever their answer is, it doesn't matter. You just kind of move on to number 3.
Okay. And then you say, hey, Joe, you know, hypothetically speaking, off the record, just between you and me, how much money do you have to make each month to make this worth your time? The key point you're trying to get to here is it's part-time income, and what dollar amount is worth your time. In number 4, so first of all, in number 3, you're just like, hey, no pressure here. You want to get a dollar number. So
what's interesting is, like, if they obviously say, well, you know, $1 million, you know, or $100,000,
yeah,
like, really,
crazy.
how much do you make now? You know, what in your job, you know? So it's got to be realistic. And it's like, you know, if realistically you know, 5,000 a year or 500 a month or whatever it is, you know, that may be worth me to put some time into this if I could make that kind of money. Okay, that's realistically understand. So then you go into the next question.
Yeah, so let's say if they can make an extra $1,000 a month.
Right.
Okay, realistically, how much time, you know, hours per week are you willing to put in to make another $1,000 per month?
So, and I might say, well, you know, $1,000 a month, you know, I make $4,000 a month and I work, you know, 160 hours, 40 hours a week for, you know, maybe 5 hours a week.
And then you get to the number 5. How many months are you willing to commit to working
5 hours a week?
5 hours a week, each week, to make $1,000 extra each month?
Well, I would give this thing 6 months, you know?
Yeah. And then we do tell them they really should give it 12 to 24 months. And so then you end it with, well, if I show you how to make $1,000 a month extra income, working part-time 5 hours per week, would you be willing to get started today? And are there any further objections? What would you say?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, if you can show me how to do that, I would be willing to get started today, because I would like to make $1,000 extra a month. But if, you know, if I said that, no, you know, I don't really want to do this, I mean, you just move on, you know?
Right. Don't waste your time.
Yeah, you just, you know, that's the 9 out of 10 that are not going to say yes. But like I said, you just want to get people in front of information. You want to give them your presentation. You want it to be somewhat short and informative, and then go to these questions and see where they're at. The right people, the people who are seeking, will want to do this. And it helps you going through this 6 steps, because you want to get them started today, and you can show them how to get started today. And, you know, the wrong people, or the people that are just not ready at this time, go back in your pipeline. But, you know, it's all about numbers. It's all about as many exposures as possible. So to that end, we're going to issue a challenge. And I don't know if any of you have read the book, Go for No. But we'd like to issue a challenge for the month of March, that everyone tries to get 10 no's every single day for the month of March. And
yeah,
what that means is that you're going to talk to 10 people and try and get a no. Go for no. You know, basically what you're trying to do is get a decision. Get a decision to see if they'd be interested to listen to a plan, something that they could benefit from, something that can help them get an additional source of income. So,
but first off, we encourage you to get the book.
Yeah, Go for No.
Yeah.
You can get the audio book. It's about an hour and a half long off of iTunes for your Apple-minded people, or you can order the book off Amazon.
Yeah. And actually, you're trying to get no's. So actually, you may have to talk to 20 people to get an actual no. A maybe doesn't count. Let me think about it doesn't count. You want to get a firm no.
Yeah, you just want a decision.
Right.
You know, and most of your decisions will be no, and that's okay. But if you go for 10 no's a day, chances are that you will eventually get a yes, and then you could give them the presentation and the close, and go from there. So this is to help spur and help you build your team, because company wide, what we announced in Nashville is that we're going to try and get 600 Pro 3s advanced in the company during the month of March. And so this is one way for you to try and do that, to get you up to Pro 3. We're gonna actually focus our next webinar on the fundamental level of getting to Pro 3 next Thursday night. So that is it. We're out of time. We hope you were able to get something out of this, and text us or call us during the week, and we can answer any other questions and add to the next week's 7 o'clock Mountain Time webinar. And next time we'll have a fix where you can see our face.
Yeah. See, you can do webinars just like this.
Yeah, you can mess up as bad as us.
No, I'm sure you could do far better than us.
And we're kind of technically adept people, but we got to actually find out the instructions. We don't like reading instructions. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us, and have a great weekend, and look forward to talking to you all, and have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.